From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online to papajohns.com and order your pizza anytime. It's time for our We Pick 'em segment, 5 games, and Barry, with the exception, well, I guess with the inclusion of our local game, we're going to pick all of these games involving one-loss teams trying to work their way into the playoff, some matching up against each other. It's a great slate of games. Let's start with Notre Dame at Arizona State. Both 7-1. This is a 2:30 game on Saturday. Who you got in this one?
Well, I think this is a fascinating game. I think both these teams are a little overstated in how good they are. Everybody's excited about Notre Dame. They're a one-hit wonder to this point, and that was a loss at Florida State. A great loss, but they've got no quality wins. Arizona State has had a solid season, but part of that was built upon a Hail Mary to beat Southern Cal. So I think this could go either way down in the desert. I'm going to go with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one as well. I'm taking Arizona State to win at home, and I'm largely picking them because they're at home. I mean, I think that these are two fairly evenly matched teams in terms of resume and what we've seen out of both of them. Obviously racking up wins, but don't really have that fantastic dominant victory. But I'll take Arizona State largely because they're at home. All right, Barry, what about this game? It's a Big 12 showdown. Who would have thought this would be a showdown? K-State at TCU. Both are 7-1, although K-State's loss is not in the Big 12. They lead the Big 12. That's a 6:30 start on Saturday. Who you got in this one?
Well, I mean, I think it's a fantastic matchup. I mean, you call it the Purple Bowl, the color purple. Who's going to flip the opening coin? Are we talking Alice Walker and so, it's just a great matchup for two sort of on the fringe schools. Winner's going to win the Big 12, especially if it's TCU. I'm taking the Frogs. They're at home. They played very well. Their one loss was a sort of a fall-apart loss, had a 21-point lead on Baylor late. So Frogs have played very well this year. I think they get it done in Fort Worth.
Yeah, this is a heck of a matchup, and I hope to be in front of a TV by 6:30 on Saturday. I'm taking K-State. I saw the Wildcats last week up close and personal. Now I've seen them twice this year, and they can win on the road. They can win at home. They can win in blowout fashion and keep their foot on your throat. They can win close games. I think this is a team equipped to win a lot of different ways, and it's going to be hostile at TCU. They're going to be fired up because this is a fantastic chance for TCU to win the Big 12. But I think K-State gets the job done. I love what they're doing offensively. People have seen it now, whether you're an OU fan or an OSU fan. Jake Waters, the run game, Tyler Lockett in the pass game. I just think that they're a really solid team that's going to go on the road and get the job done. All right, Barry, what about this one? Alabama at LSU. Alabama is the one-loss team in this matchup, but they got to go to Death Valley. That's a 7 o'clock start on Saturday. Two people will be fired up down there at LSU. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to pick the Tigers in the upset special. I think Alabama's probably the better team, but LSU a tough place to play, and the Tigers are playing better. They beat Ole Miss the other night in Baton Rouge. Alabama is primed. Everybody's excited about Alabama, but the truth of the matter is Alabama's played two good teams this year. Beat West Virginia in a really good game, lost to Ole Miss in a really good game. So this is a tough test for Alabama. They didn't roll over Tennessee. The Volunteers sort of made on a good comeback. That was in Knoxville against a much inferior team. LSU is not that much inferior. I think LSU springs the upset.
Well, this is a really interesting game. I'm going to take Alabama to win, but there are a lot of question marks in my mind about Alabama. I think because of the big game nature of this, going in, it's going to be hyped, it's going to be a crazy environment. I think that Nick Saban gets his guys ready to go to LSU and win. But, like you said, Barry, lots of questionable games on the resume for the Crimson Tide. And yet that college football playoff selection committee still has them up high. What's going on here? What's going on here, really? Okay, but to the Big Ten we go. Who would have thought? The Big Ten with a marquee game, Ohio State at Michigan State. Both are 7-1. This is another 7 o'clock Saturday kick. Who you got in this one?
I got Michigan State, and I got news for people. Somebody tell me what Ohio State's done. They haven't played any good teams. They haven't even played the marginal teams of the Big Ten West. They haven't played Iowa or Minnesota or Nebraska or even, certainly not anybody the caliber of Michigan State. Played Virginia Tech and lost. Ohio State is a fraud. Michigan State's going to win this game easy.
Go Sparty, go. Yeah, I got Michigan State in this one as well, and I really didn't have to think too hard about it. I think Michigan State's a really good team. I think they're a team that at the end of the year definitely deserves consideration for that college football playoff because I don't see them losing again. And talk about people being fired up in an evening game. You think they'll be fired up in East Lansing? Pretty sure they will be. All right, Barry, what about this one? It's the local Baylor at OU. Baylor also 7-1 trying to get in that college football playoff. This is an 11 o'clock start on Saturday. Who are you taking?
I got the Sooners. I think Oklahoma's a very good team. They've just lost 2 tight games. Nobody's fault but their own. They just didn't play well enough to win those games, made mistakes at the wrong times. Didn't get the play made, but Oklahoma's still a really good team. Baylor's good too, but the Bears have not shown they can win on the road. Mm-hmm. They went to West Virginia and really got popped pretty good. That Baylor offense was really held down by West Virginia. Mountaineers are playing underrated defense, solid defensive team, but I think the Sooners are solid too on defense. I think Oklahoma gets it done at Owen Field. Yeah, I'm going with Oklahoma as well, and it largely goes back to something I wrote earlier this week. When West Virginia beat Baylor, they blitzed on almost 60% of their plays. Now, West Virginia, as Barry said, I think underrated defensively, but they did that when they had 2 cornerbacks who were hurt. They had one hurt before the game, one got hurt during the game. So they're playing with second-string cornerbacks, essentially, but their blitzing caused Baylor such problems that it didn't show up. You didn't see them having that second string in there at cornerback. So OU's cornerbacks that start are every bit as good as the second stringers at West Virginia, and I gotta think OU's defensive front is definitely every bit as good or better than what West Virginia had out there. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they're going to take it to the Bears. I think they win. Close game, fun game, but I think OU gets it done. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.